It's an absolute pleasure. Really, really happy to do so.
So thanks for taking this call. I just wanted to ask you a few questions and just get some feedback so other people can also hear how the sessions have been. So there's only a few questions. My first is, what is it that made you decide to book in with me?
So about a year ago, I went to no contact with my father, who has a borderline personality disorder, and I dealt with a lot of stuff that had come up, and I'd made the decision to cut him out of my life. And I realized this year that I thought that was the final step. But with COVID and the gift of hindsight, I really realized that I hadn't dealt with what that relationship had kind of done to me over the years, and the behaviors in my life that were arising from the results of it. And it was really bad. I just got to the point where I was just crying all the time, and I couldn't understand it. I was convinced I was stuck in toxic relationships for the rest of my life, and I just, like, life had no meaning for me. I just felt like I was existing, and somebody told me about you, and I was like, wow, I can't believe somebody like this exists. So I gave you a call.
So how did it feel when you were in a place where you're feeling like you're just existing? How was it affecting your work? How was it affecting your friendships?
I think what was so major for me is I just had this complete lack of faith in myself. I just didn't know who I was at all. I was stuck in this feeling of a lot of guilt and shame, and I had no trust. I think everybody speaks about trusting your gut and your intuition, and I felt like I was lost at sea. I couldn't trust my gut feeling because I knew I had this damage from this relationship, and I'd become aware that certain things I was doing and certain people I was attracting into my life, I knew that this was happening, but I had no idea that it could ever change. And so I just felt completely overwhelmed and completely, I suppose, inadequate to ever change. Yeah, it's a weird one, because I would meet people and I'd interact with people, and I just would sit there and I felt very separate from everybody. And yeah, I just, like I say, lost in a very dark wood. And work-wise, and I take my job so seriously, work-wise, I just wasn't focused. I just didn't care, which is a complete antithesis to who I am. I couldn't get through the day, and I was completely confounded by absolute daily chaos. I felt like my head and my heart and my mind, everything was just chaos. And like I said, my emotions were out of control. I couldn't focus. I didn't want to do anything. I'd go out with friends, but I'd, like, 1 minute I'd be okay, and the next minute I wouldn't. I felt like a tiny little boat out in a very rough sea, and completely overwhelmed, and that I had no hope of ever fixing it, because this was what happened to me over 32 years, and I'd compounded it over the last 5 to 10, and well, I'm just broken. And I was convinced that I was just completely broken and that there was no hope, and it was very, very, very dark.
So what did you try and do in the past to fix it? What do you think that the way you tried it, and why didn't it work?
I think I think the first thing I really did to try and fix it was go to a psychologist last year, September, and to give credit to the guy, he helped me get to the point where I was strong enough to let go of the narcissistic relationship that was really, I wasn't sleeping at all, and the work thing had gotten really bad. Everything was just bad. I was enacting very unhealthy behavior. And so, like, thankfully, he got me to the point that I could say goodbye and realize that I needed to cut this person out. But thereafter, those sessions, as much as there is a lot to be said for awareness of your issues and where they've come from, that was kind of the end point for me. And so I kept going, and finding out more about how broken I am and how stuck I am in these cycles and why I do certain things, and that I became hyper focused and hyper aware. Like I said, that I'm this damaged little bird that does all these things. And, the problem is that gave me more and more anxiety, and it made me feel more inadequate, and more ashamed of myself. And, we'd speak about trying to do things like, I suppose, like meditation and mindfulness, and I just couldn't. And I would try to do, especially when COVID hit, I would try to do like some exercise at home or try these things, and I couldn't. I felt this inability. Everything felt like Mount Everest to me. And so I stopped trying because I didn't even know, and then I gave it a little break. And then as COVID like tapered off a little bit, I thought, okay, you're better now. You should be fine. Everything should be fine. And I tried to date again, and immediately the same red flags came up. And that was when I just shut down. And I was like, I'm doomed.
What were your thoughts about coaching before you came to see me? Did you have any preconceived ideas?
It's funny. Like, for some reason, honest to God, I thought that coaching was the less effective, less medical, less credible version of psychology. I really did. Like, so I've always been kind of anti the medicine route. I haven't, certain people need that, but I didn't want to go that route for myself. And I thought, well, a psychologist is legitimate, and they are, I'm not dissing them, but I didn't equate a coach on nearly the same level. And I can't believe how wrong I was.
Okay. So how would you describe the actual coaching experience then that you had with me?
It has been the most enlightening, awakening, powerful, liberating, challenging experience of my life. Honest to God. Like, I think I was absolutely terrified. I had no idea what to expect, because it's not like I'm going to a psychologist, I'm going to sit there and talk. I knew that we'd be doing things, but, people speak about the work. I didn't know what that was. So it was scary. But even from the first session, I mean, I've never cried so much in my life, but when I left that first session, I was like, wow, like, I'm not beyond hope, and it's just been really powerful. And every time I left you, I felt I got this. I felt just so capable and in charge, and it was amazing.
And how do you feel now after all these sessions, and now that you finished the program?
Yeah, it's chalk and cheese. Honestly, Tash, you saved my life, because I don't think I ever could have done it on my own. I think, when you're stuck so deep, you don't see the wood for the trees. And I feel like just a whole new me. Like, I'm doing things. I mean, we finished about a week and a half ago. And even in the week and a half, I'm doing things I haven't done in years. And if I catch myself, if I'm doubting myself, I can confidently say to myself, because you can't lie to yourself in your own mind. And in my own head, I go, I can do this. No, that's not right. I'm a new person. I really feel like I've got a new lease on life. I feel like the shackles have been taken off of me, and I'm not broken. And I feel like I've done so much healing. I understand what was not mine to carry and who I am within myself. And even if I'm not, perfect or got everything together 100%, I've got the tools, and I feel confident that just my whole mindset has shifted to the degree that I've got this, and I can do this. And it is, I'm like energized again at work. I'm meeting new people. I think it's just been a completely different, it's a very unique experience, and I just feel so much more together and confident and faithful and trusting in myself.
You also mentioned that you're trusting that you're able to date again.
That's a biggie. You know, like throughout my 20s, I didn't realize that there were issues there. In hindsight, it was very clear. But, you know, we live in these la la lands that we create for ourselves. And the last few years of my life, I've gone, you know, I don't really have the best taste in men. And I seem to have these patterns in these relationships. And that's a problem. But I'll get away from that person and it'll be fine. You know, I've gotten away from that person and, oh, there was one more and that's fine. And then I realized like a year and a half ago that there was probably something really wrong here. And as I say, I just started pulling back because I was like, I don't really know what's wrong, but this isn't working. And then when I went to psychology and all these, you know, patterns of behavior were revealed to me, I was like, well, that's it. You know, what's actually the point? Because I don't know how to change what I'm attracted to and who I attract. So I just won't. So I just didn't. I just didn't date. And I was convinced, I've been convinced for a very long time, you know, and that's what's really shifted, that I would just, oh, well, it's not for me, you know, I would just be alone, you know. I'm 32 and a lot of my friends are engaged and married and they've got kids. And I just was like, you know what, I'm too broken. Fine, it won't happen. And it petrified me to date. It absolutely petrified me. So I just shut down completely. And then just before I came to you, I tried one more time and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare because there was the evidence right in front of me that I was just, you know, in my mind, I was like, oh, well, here we go. It's happened again. Well, that's it, you know. And I was so broken from that. And I was so dismayed and despondent. And now it's changed.
What would you say to people who are putting off fixing their problems, who think that coaching isn't going to work, or, you know, they think that meditating or praying about it, and I'm not saying those things don't work, but they don't really get clarity from that. What would you say to those people?
Sure. I would say that you have a future ahead of you that can be different from what you have behind you. And why stay stuck? Why stay stuck? To keep on digging and all this effort and all this energy and all this hurt and all this pain to stay in the same place when the coaching, I mean, it's 2 months that I've done with you that I never believed would fundamentally change, and it has. And for me, the reason I made the decision was I was absolutely terrified by the idea that this was it for me, that this was how I would exist for the rest of my life. And I met a girl who was 6 years younger than me. And when she spoke about her trauma and what she'd been through, she was able to talk calmly and she was at peace. And she was able to tell me her story. And I sat back. I mean, it was her story. I was sobbing because I was in a very dark place, but she was at peace. And I sat back and I was like, you are so much younger than me and you are so much further ahead of me. How can I not do something when I'm older than you? And you know what? I'd like to think I have more life ahead of me than I have behind me. So I need to do it. I have to do it. And it was those realizations that why just stay stuck like this? If there is something, if there is a lifeline that can make a difference and stop these patterns, oh my God, rather now, because I've got so much ahead of me.
Amazing. What is the most important thing for you in achieving success? What was the most important part of that whole coaching process? Or what was it that you were looking for?
Yeah. I think I began coaching because I wanted to have hope. That was really, like, it sounds trivial, but you know, to live every day and not have something to look forward to, whether that be having the bravery and courage to do something new every day, or to go and travel overseas solo, or whether it's having the confidence to make new friends or to date. Like, if you take away all of those things and you can't even get through 8 hours of a day, it's a very sad existence. And so I wanted to have hope for the future. I wanted to feel like I could look forward to something. And I wanted to stop hating myself, really. I just was so stuck in this endless cycle of self-shame and criticism, and it's really like self-abuse and anxiety and all of this stuff. Like, it was so draining to just exist. I wanted to be able to part the clouds and feel capable. I've always seen myself as quite a strong, independent person, and I'd lost the ability to, I feel like, achieve anything. And I felt like my relationships were suffering, the existing ones, never mind new ones. And I just wanted to feel like I could do life, you know, and that I could have a better future. That's really what I was looking for, was to go, okay, I've got something more that I can do, and I don't have to keep letting this hold me back.
Well, you did participate fully, and I think, and I know what you put in is what you're going to get out. And if you're willing to keep an open mind and just do the work, as you say, your life will change for sure. And you've done so well. And I think I'm so glad you've got these results, because to me, if it's one more person that doesn't have to walk around with this cloud over their head, that's one more person that can go and help other people not feel the same as well. You know, we're living in tough times, and it's good to have people to be able to know, like you say, that there's hope. You know, it's all just what's in your mind. If you can change your perception, if you can change what you're holding in your head, you literally will become a different person. And maybe not different, but renewed. You know, you can't heal from the place that you got sick in. You have to change.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. I hope that this helps a lot of people and they can see that there is hope. And we'll maybe catch in and check in about 6 months and see how you're feeling. See if anything's changed, if you've maybe got a man in your life.
You know, Natasha, I feel like I'm really excited about what's ahead of me and what I can achieve. And you are just the most unique, incredible human being. You know, your persona every single time going through the stuff that's so raw and so deep. You were just such a comfort and a source of strength. And, you know, to be able to expose those parts of you to somebody, like, you will, for the rest of my life, mean everything to me. And I can't say thank you enough. And I can't wait to share all the little successes, whether it's exercising for the first time in years, or losing weight, or just my friendships blossoming, or, you know, meeting a guy. I've already started dating, work, all of it. I feel like there is so much to come and to look forward to, and I cannot wait to share all of those little successes with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Awesome. Thank you. You see, you spoke from the heart, and I do hope, I really hope that you stay in this mindset, because it's not what happened to you that defines you. It's who do you decide to be today? Who do I want to be today? You know?
Yeah. And I think it's the systems, those tools that you've given me, and as long as I remember all of those, because I think it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
But I've now got the things to fall back on. So I think that makes all the difference. I really do. I thank my lucky stars that I found somebody who knew you and knew about what you did, because I didn't think it existed. I thought coaching was just like life coaching, like, I don't know, fluffy stuff. I don't know. I thought life coaching was fluffy stuff. And when I heard about what you do, I was like, who knew there was such a specialized source of help that was so suited to what I'm going through? And just like, what? Like, I don't think people give it nearly enough credit, honestly. So if my path had not crossed with those people, like, how would I ever have known? I would never have found you, and I would be sitting in the same place, 100% guaranteed, without a doubt.
Yeah, because reading books doesn't help you to find out, because you don't know what you don't know. You think it's something external. You think it's something that's happening in your life now that you need to change the words you use, maybe, or your habits that you have. You know, and you can do it, but doing affirmations 2,000 times a day is very time consuming.
That's the thing. Like everybody speaks, you know, I suppose we've said like do the work, but it's different because everybody else, when they speak about changing yourself and making yourself a better person, it's like every day you've got to put in all this energy, like it's 4 hours of work every day because you've got to read this and you've got to plan this and you do this. Whereas actually, yes, there's some serious, like, deep subconscious work and things that we did that are in our sessions. But aside from that, yes, I did the work, but it actually has freed up my life. It hasn't been something that every day drains me, and that's been really enlightening too. You know, it's not true that you have to feel like you're climbing a mountain every day to change. It's not like that. But the problem with books is they don't speak to your issue.
That's right.
And if you don't know, you're supposed to know what's going on in your own subconscious. Like, that's a hard thing to do. And I wouldn't have said the things to myself. I wouldn't have been able to see the things that you've shown me about myself, the deep things. And without that deep work, the rest of it, yes, I can continue with, but without that, I don't think I would have seen it.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know what to do, and also to keep yourself in that space, because it helps to have somebody there talking you through. I mean, I also can't do it on my own. I need somebody there with me too.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's that aha moment. We've had so many moments where you've said something and I've gone, I suppose. And you're like, so what? I'm like, I guess. Like, actually, now that you say it, and it's the simple things that have been the most like, wow, like, why haven't I been thinking, or why have I been thinking that way, or why haven't I been thinking that way, or why wasn't it possible now that you say it? But you have to, there's a couple puzzle pieces that have to fall into place for you to even be receptive to that. And that's been amazing. And yeah, like I say, I wouldn't, it's one thing to know what your issues are, but to actually be able to unpack them so that you can heal them you need help on that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you again. I hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks. Thank you.
Well, I'll see you.
Times a million. Yes, we will definitely be chatting soon.
Awesome. Okay, have an awesome day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.